When I was young, one of my favorite songs that I would listen to because I related to as a young person was Overkill by Men at Work. And for those who have not heard the song, there's a line where it talks about being worrisome of things even though you know they won't happen, that you lie awake thinking of things and you, in your heart, you know you're going to be okay. And so that's best demonstrated in a quote. A pessimist is a man who looks both ways before crossing a one-way street. And meaning that pessimism kind of starts in looking at something from a logical, preventative way, but oftentimes we kind of turn it to even more absurd things that will not actually have any likelihood of happening. And this is a quote I agree with, and I'm going to show you two ways that this can harm you and also have counterpoints to why we kind of fall into these habits and what happens if we don't do that. So one would be my brother. My brother always has like a lot of social nervousness, anxiety, and he'll be at restaurants a lot of times and he'll read things, and sometimes just the wording of how things are makes him nervous to ask for things. So the other day we went for his birthday to Red Lobster, and it said, you know, if you want to upgrade mashed potatoes, you pay this fee and they'll upgrade it to lobster on it or something. And he was really excited, oh yeah, I'll get that instead. But then he read the part where, but my thing already comes with, my meal already comes with mashed potatoes. What if they won't let me upgrade because it's already there? I'm like, well, it's just a thing. There's, you know, what is the likelihood? You could still ask, what is the likelihood? And he was, even when the person came, he refused to ask. I asked, they said, yeah, and that was it. So he kind of had this whole turmoil for something that was kind of silly. He didn't believe the words he was looking at, just on the likelihood, for whatever reason, they might have been wrong. And in another way, I have sometimes not trusted things I know my intuition tells me are probably true. So once I had an appointment for a vocal class at school, and I knew the person was normally always there after school. But when I walked up to the door, I saw some other people there, kind of outside in the hallway where I'm about to go, and I wondered, what if something's going on? What if they're not there? You know, what if I'm gonna make myself look stupid? But I knew, like, this is the time, this is when they should be. But I waited out there for about 5 minutes until eventually the teacher came out and said, where were you, you know? This is the time, you know? And so I went in, and it was just something that I didn't trust, because even though it was something I had repeatedly experienced. And I think, in a way, sometimes we've learned, my sibling and I have kind of learned this, because our parents are not exactly pessimists. I'd say my mom is an optimist. My dad normally just doesn't think beforehand about things going wrong. My mother, oftentimes, she will read things and read fine prints and sort of not really believe it. Like if she were in the restaurant situation, she would, and it said maybe it didn't do that, maybe it wouldn't be, the upgrade would not be possible, she would still try to ask for it and kind of, you know, deal with that failure. And we've been in situations where she's done that, and it's kind of embarrassing for us. Where my dad, oftentimes, like once he went to a picnic day and he brought these things and he went at a certain time and he wasn't really thinking about how it would possibly go or how I would feel if he dragged me off to eat this random thing he had gotten for a coupon. And he doesn't worry about those things. And so a lot of times it's left to me and my brother to worry, and kind of we've dealt with their mistakes, and it doesn't bother them, but it's over time begun to bother us, and now we kind of suffer for that in being overly pessimistic. So I do agree with the quote, and I've showed you that. You either, if you are too pessimistic, you start not believing things that you read clearly, or you not believing intuition you know to be true. But at the same time, being a pessimist can be a bit helpful if you don't Because if you don't at least think about the bad outcomes, you might run into issues. I'm sorry.
No, you keep that. That's yours.
I was trying not to fold.
All right, well, I thought you had a good opening attention device. You're also looking at us pretty well. Although I do notice as the speech goes on that was one thing about your eye contact that was a little problematic. You look at me. I'm not sure you're paying much attention to everybody else. I think you need to be a little bit more engaged. You need to turn your head occasionally. You need to kind of direct your face to the whole audience. And, you know, I'm here and the camera's here, so there's a tendency to kind of just, you know, tunnel vision right in front of you. So that's a little bit of an issue. But I thought it went very smoothly. There was a clear attention device, a purpose statement, a preview. So you're doing good organizationally. I thought you had pretty good details. I'm not exactly sure how it all fit together exactly with your theme, but I like the idea that you had things that you were talking about, and you got good detail in there. Except for the one thing about the picnic. I'm not sure what the hell was going on at the picnic. That just seemed like it was, you had an idea there, but it didn't come across very clearly.
It was like too long.
Yeah,
I was like, no, I can't do it.
So, and then the end, I think, needed to be a little bit more connected to what your original purpose was, but it finished fine. All right. Thank you.